Okay, so to add white or varnish to an image or any text, there are very many different ways to go about this. Now, there's not a right or a wrong way. It's just whatever you find the easiest. So I'm going to show you on a fair different examples of how we can add the color and add the white and add the varnish. So as an example, on this type of photo where you want the whole image, what I generally do is I come to the lasso tool, and I'll hold down the left mouse button and I go around the whole outside until I get back to the start, and now release. Now you can see by this dashed line that it's all selected. That is the selected area that you wish to do things with. So as we can see down the bottom here, we got RGB. So we don't really want the RGB because that isn't gonna print a truer color on UV printers. RGB is great for monitors and such things like that, but you really want to come up to mode in image, then mode, and go CMYK color. You may find, depending on your image, some of the colors change, but so long as they weren't fluorescent green, fluorescent red, wild colors, you should be fine. Messing around with colors is going to be a totally different video. This is just for your new white spot to go in behind it. So we've converted it over to the CMYK and we've already got our border around it. So what we need to do is come over to these three lines, left click, and then it says new spot channel, left click again. So as you can see, I've already placed down a white spot before. You may not have the same here. So in the name, put W1, but make sure the W is a capital W because otherwise it won't pick it up. As for the color, I will generally come to here on the magenta and type in 100. And in the yellow, type in 100. That will make the exact same color red because I think for the color intensity, it will use more or less white color in the background. And don't think you have to go white just because you want white. It's exactly the same. Just stick with this and it works fine. So we'll go okay for that because I'm happy with that. And now, because you can see red, don't panic. It's not erased your photo. If you look down here, it's because we're actually selected on this image. So what we can do is if we go okay a moment, I can show you that if I deselect this one, your image is still there. So we can clearly see that is going to create a white background. Now, we can do exactly the same for the gloss. So left click and hold around the outside and then release. And then we go back over to the new spot channel. This time it's put down yet another W1, which obviously we don't want that because we've already got one spot channel. We want a secondary. So we're going to put 2. In the color, we're going to put the yellow to 0 and the cyan to 100. That will create this blue. We go okay and we go okay. So it will default to blue because that is what the last one is in the line. And again, if I get rid of those two, it's still back there, the picture. So that will now print your white background with that color image and then a gloss over the top. We can also, if I just come down to here and hit delete this channel, so we've gotten rid of the varnish, because we've got all this red here, we could go to this tool here, right click on it and go magic wand tool. And as you can see, it looks like a little wand. And any color you select with the magic wand tool, it will select every single color on your image. So, I'm glad that's happened. So, as you can currently see, it's picking up the background image. That is obviously going to be incorrect, because otherwise it's only going to, if I create the new spot channel, it's only going to put gloss where the blue is. And you won't want that. I'd imagine you wouldn't want that. Okay, so the reason why it's done this, we'll hit cancel. The reason why it's done this is because all of this is selected. Okay, so if we come back up to the selection tool and go deselect, that gets rid of that. Now we need to come down to W1 and just select this one section. And now if I left click on this, it's just selected the surrounding box. So then we can go back over to these 3 lines, left click, new spot channel, and as you can see, it all comes up correct as blue. So you can see that having it on a particular channel, it makes sense to be aware of what you're doing over here, so as you know what you're going to select. If, let's say, you have some text on this one and a different text on this one, and you wanted a white background on this one but not on this one, you then need to be making sure that you're picking the correct layer and not this one. So we move on to the next image. So here is a save the date file that I was creating for someone. Now, if I try to use the magic wand tool here, let's choose the grey. It's selected some of it, and it is selected some of this up here, but it's not going to do all of it. Now again, if I go down to new spot channel, you can clearly see it's only going to put the gloss or the white there, which isn't what I want. I want the whole area. So we'll just deselect this by going up to select and deselect. We're going to change it over to the CMYK mode. And as you can see, there is only one tab, like so. But if I go and click in the background, and now if I go over to the new spot, you can clearly see that because I selected the background, it wants to do the background. Well, that's still not exactly what I want. I want the opposite way round. So we can come up to select and we can hit inverse. Now you can see that the dotted dash line has gone from around here, but it's around here and these sections. So now if I was to create a new spot channel, it's now putting it exactly where I want it. So again, if I want to put a white background on the back of this, I will then put that as 0, put that as 100, and done. That's exactly how I would want that one. Okay, so I won't mess around with the varnish. The varnish is exactly the same, and to be fair, this was going on to acrylic, and I was printing the image backwards anyway, so I only wanted color and then the white on the back just to make it not see-through. Here's another image. Okay, so take note that there is 2 different images over here. If I get rid of the backdrop, you can clearly see that there is more text, but because the text is white and we have a white background, we can't see it. And if you look very closely, this text isn't bold. It's got loads of little bits that you don't want, like it's see-through. The effect is that way. So, oh, hang on, let's zoom back out. So again, the easiest solution with this one will be, let's first change it over. So we're going to go mode, CMYK color. Now, what this is asking, when it says merge, it wants to merge these two files together. So we're going to say don't merge. Okay, so now it has separate layers. And now what we want to do is we want to select on this top one. And there we go. I selected on the background. And you can see clearly that because, again, I selected on the background, just like we did with this one, it's highlighted all the text because I'm on that channel. If I was over on this one and I do this, it's only going to do the background. So it's going to want to put all that section as white. So we don't want that. We're going to deselect again. And we're going to select up onto this channel. And then highlight like so. But again, it's going to be backwards. So we want to inverse it. So now it's around every single piece of text. And now I'm going to go straight down to these lines. New spot channel. W1 and the red color. And we go OK. As you can clearly see, that is where all the text is. And if you want to do the gloss, again, you can do the same, but make sure you're on the correct one up here, as it's highlighted still, and the correct one down here. And now, if you use Magic Wand tool, you can left click on any red, and it will only highlight the red. So then we can go down to the new spot channel, and we're going to make this one blue. So we're going to put that as 100 and that as 0. And then we're going to create that as W2. I always remember that W1 is going to be my white, W2 is going to be my gloss. And there we have our image ready to go. Obviously in each image, I haven't addressed the fact of the sizing. I'd imagine you know how to do that, but it's always in image, image size, and then choose the relative size that you need. Next image. So again, very similar again, but the background is disappeared. Like you cannot see it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to just get rid of the main image. Actually, if I show you first, if I get rid of the background, you can see that there's some text, Happy Father's Day, with this image here. This particular image is best suited for a black t-shirt, black background. So what we do here is I'll get rid of that one for a minute so we don't make any mistakes on that side. And you can see there's a padlock. We need to click it just to get rid of the padlock, because otherwise you can't do nothing to the area. So down here you can clearly see you've got the white and the black, and you can just select on it and choose your color. Or like me, because I want black, I can just press X on the keyboard and it brings it to the front, and I can pick up a paint bucket tool there and make sure again it's on this layer, and then just paint it. So now we have a black background. Okay, if I pull the picture back up now, you can clearly see that this works so much better on a black background. But let's say you haven't got a black background. Like I want to put this onto maybe a slate or a piece of wood or something. So what I'm going to do here is, again, very much the same as the other ones. We can go to mode, CMKY. You can merge. I guess you could merge. It just brings it into one image. But the only issue is you have a background now, you see. This is the only problem. Let's see if we can do the same as before. So we go to this quick selection tool and we'll select all the black. Again, we want to inverse it. because we just want the white to be around the image. Okay, so if we just make the white to go around the image, and we go to new spot channel, and we go to red, which is 0 and 100. As you can see, in some places, oh, we better make that W1. In some places, you will find that this slot here will not have the white backdrop. So it's going to totally depend on what you want. Now, if that's not what you're looking for, then you need to go a different way around it. So what we can do is, if we delete this one, oh, let's zoom out a minute so we can see. Delete that section, delete that channel. There we go, back to there. We can use multiple tools. So if we use the Magic Wand tool again and select on the black, again, it's grabbed what it thinks we want it to be. And it's avoided any dark colors. That's why these wings have not been selected. Now, inverse, we try and zoom in a little bit. So up here, again, if you want these little sections to be see-through, that's fine. If you want white to be totally behind here, what you can then do is, if we right click on here and go quick selection tool, you can actually, if you just press the left mouse button across these, press and hold it, and just drag across all these bits inside. You've got to be quite careful, because if you select out here, you're going to select all this section, and then you're likely to have to go back and start again. So just almost like colouring in, hold that left mouse button down. I won't do it all, because it is just literally tiresome. Yep. Again, over here, you're going to want the same. Here, you've got some of this. Now, you've got to ask yourself, do you want to come out more? Like, if I go left mouse button and go out here, you can see it as it's not fully done it. But if I do it a few times, now let's say, oh, I don't want to go out that far with the white. You can hold the Alt key on your keyboard and then hold the left button and almost reverse it. So as you can see now, that has brought that back in. Now there's a little spot out there still, so don't miss those. Just scribble over the top. If you can't grab it, then you might have to zoom in some more. But if I now show you, if I zoom out and show you what I've done so far, and see the difference from this wing to this wing, we go new spot. So as you can see now, all this will be white. But don't worry, these lines that are here will still print, but they're printing the color that they're meant to be. But all you're looking at is, this is going to be what's behind it. Now, if you don't do these and you're, say, printing onto something transparent like a piece of acrylic, then you will have those black lines, but it will see through. You'll see through most of it. So it is a matter of trial and error with certain images, but like I said, there's so many different ways about going around this. I'm going to show you one more way, and that is again another simple way. So as you can see, really, I could use the Lasso tool and go around the outside, and then you're left with these little sections. So you could mess around like I just showed you. Quick selection tool, and then Alt and delete. You see, Alt, and then you drag the left mouse button. Yeah. Okay, so that's exactly what we wanted. I haven't obviously changed the mode, CMYK, and then new spot channel, and you can see that it's done it right. That's where we want the white. We don't want these bits anyway to have white behind them. It is, however, going to print those sections still. So you got to be aware of that. You might want to cut that if you don't want those. Again, I'm not going to play around with cutting it because that is still another video really of editing. This is just putting the background on it. You can also, and I'll just deselect this. If you've got one of these tools selected, you can see something up here called subject, select subject. Now if I click that, you can see it's doing something. And now you can see that it clearly sees that, oh, well, it looks like it wants to select this section. It's not perfect, but let's say you've got one person in frame and you want to select that person. It does a reasonable job. And again, then you can come back over with the manual tools and hold either left click there to bring that back in, or hold the Alt key to take it back away. And again, you can take it back away as far as you needed to take it away, or bring it back in as much as you needed to bring it back in. So many ways you can't really go wrong. Let me know if that was helpful. It's long-winded, but I wanted to give you one video to show you all the different ways that you can do things. For yourself, you're saying about text. Let me just... Okay, that got rid of that. Text, as for this one, you really, if it's just text, your safest bet is with the Magic Wand tool and select the background, and then inverse the image, and then you have the text.